All right, welcome to our video covering how to set up a project with the Game Jam template. So the way you're going to do this is your teacher's going to provide you with the download link. You'll go to that link and download a file. The file will look like this. It's a zip file. You can see on the file there's a little icon on the folder. That's a zip file. So what we want to do is once you've downloaded this, it should be in your downloads folder when you download it, but you'll want to find the folder if it's not in your downloads, but it should be in your downloads. You'll go to the folder, the zip file, and you'll right click on it and go extract all. A folder like this will pop up on your screen. Once this pops up on your screen, you go ahead and hit extract and you let it do its thing. It'll take a moment to extract the full file or the full project folder for Unity. And while it does that, I want you to go ahead and right click on your desktop and hit new folder. Once you do that, just name it Unity Projects. This is where we'll store our projects in that we create different, like if you create different games, this is where you can easily store different ones. So you want to have a folder for that to be able to easily import assets and find assets when you're working within Unity. Okay, now we got our game folder, our zip folder unzipped, and we have our Game Jam template folder. We want to go inside this folder, so we want to double click into the folder, not the zip folder, but the non-zipped folder. We want to double click into it, and we'll see another Game Jam template folder. We want to copy this one, so we want to select it and right click copy. So again, select it, right click, copy, and then we open our Unity projects folder. As you can see here, my Unity projects folder, and I paste it into here. So once you paste it into here, what you're doing is you're not wanting to paste the top level folder. So when you unzip something, it usually unzips it as a folder and then has the same folder inside itself. So you want to take that folder that's inside it, copy it, and paste that into your Unity projects. So I'll let this do its thing and paste into my Unity projects folder, and I'll be right back when it's done. Now that it's done copying it into our Unity projects, we can go ahead and close our downloads folder right here, or the folder that we were inside of. Remember, we went inside of the unzipped Game Jam template, copied this into our Unity projects. So we right clicked and copied and then pasted it into our Unity projects. We can go ahead and close our downloads. And we also want to keep that folder in our downloads in case we ever have to make a new project folder for a new game to start with. So once you have this in your Unity projects, what you want to do is go to your Unity hub and open that up. These are games that I'm working on, but inside your Unity hub, you want to go ahead and go up to add project from disk. So again, that's add project from disk. And you're going to select that and go into your Unity projects folder, as you can see right here. And we have our Game Jam template. You're going to select this, and you could rename this to whatever you want to name it. I'm just going to leave it as Game Jam template, but if you want to change this to be your project name, just right click here and rename it, and then select it afterwards. Or you go into your projects folder and right click and rename it, and then once you right click and rename it or whatever, right? So if you were to do like this and then click out, then you would click this and open it, but I don't want to rename it, so I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm going to select the folder and go open, and you'll see it pop up right here at the top. Once it pops up in here, you're good to go, and you're basically just going to click this to let it open our project. And again, this is going to take a second to open, so I'll show you what that looks like. Once it starts opening, it'll take a moment to load. It usually takes longest to load when you load it the first time, so, or when you if you restarted your computer, it might take a second to load. But that's just kind of how Unity and all programs work. So once it loads, we'll jump into the next part. Now that we finished loading, you can see the project and what Unity looks like on the inside if you've never opened it. Hopefully you're creating games more than just the first time, but if this is your first time, this is what the Unity editor looks like. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of where things are in the editor so you can begin to mess around with it. Also, just know that if you mess something up, you have the zip file and you have the project folder already, so you can just delete this project and re-import it to create a new project. Like, you're not going to destroy the original project that you unzipped because it's not you're not accessing it through Unity right now. So in Unity, you have your file menu up on the top left. This is important for later. I'll go over this in the next video. We'll go through this and talk a bit about it. You have your hierarchy right here. And your hierarchy is associated to whatever's out here. So this is a list version of what's in the world. And then you have your inspector. An object has settings inside the inspector. So every object has settings, and each object has different settings based on whatever it's been given. And it comes with default settings, but you can also add settings to it and add things to it to make it do different things. And we'll talk about that in later videos. That's just knowledge of how objects work in Unity. On the bottom, we have, so this is our settings for objects, just to be clear. On the bottom, we have our projects folder in our console tab. So our project folder has assets, master game assets, new game assets, TextMesh Pro, and WebGL. This is for deployment to WebGL. This is something that comes with Unity. These are packages that come with Unity. New game assets is for you to put your assets into and make your game, whereas master game assets is for what comes with this project. So try not to delete anything in here because it might affect something out here. You want to work with this area for your own assets like textures and things that you would bring in, or sounds and things like that. Now, inside of the hierarchy, you can click these arrows to see different things. And if you want to create something, all you have to do is right click in the hierarchy over here and go 3D object, cube, and you can see the cube popped up right here. If you want to change these manipulators, you can do that right here. So you can go move, rotate, scale to be able to change the manipulator and start moving stuff around. And you can mess with that as well. And that's basically how you start adding stuff to the world and creating a scene. And that's pretty much what I wanted to go over today. How to import or download, import, and then open it up from Unity Hub, and then add things into the scene for you to start working with game objects. You can also add things into your scene here if you want to mess around. You can go right here and just right click in hierarchy, go 3D object cube or 3D object cylinder. You can just add stuff in and see what it is if you would like to mess around and build things. And for moving inside the viewport, it's right click and WASD, WASD on the keyboard, and then F to focus on something. So again, that's right click with WASD on the keyboard, and then F to focus. And that's how you can begin manipulating things and moving it around. You can also scale it and rotate it by changing the manipulator. Just to show you that real quick, we'll go ahead and select over here, or you can hit WER. So if you hit W, E, or R, you'll get move, rotate, scale. And then you can use these manipulators, they're right here as well, move, rotate, scale, to manipulate objects and scale them and put them in place as you build your scene within the world, whatever you're building. And that's how you begin modeling. And for flying around, again, that's right click WASD and then look with the mouse, and then F to focus. Again, the arrows to close these down, and to delete something, you just select it, hit delete on the keyboard, and you can hold shift and select multiple things and hit delete on the keyboard. And if you want to select multiple things but not a whole list, so you want to click the top and then shift, you don't want to click this middle one, just hit control to select multiple without, so I get select like individual things without having a whole list of run through with shift. Shift will like grab everything in between. So that's how that works, and that's Unity. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you learned a thing or two about importing the asset and setting up the project, opening up our project from Unity Hub, and how to move around and do a little bit inside of Unity. In the next video, I'll go way more into navigation and the settings and menus and things and what they're for. But yeah, that's Unity. Hope you enjoyed the video.